Three, two, one. Welcome to Football and AI, episode 9. We're actually getting to a milestone episode, which is our episode 10. That should be next week. We have a lot of club football coming on from now till March. So we have no distractions from those international guys for a while. I'm not a big fan of international football anyway, until when it comes to tournament proper. As always, my name is Adeyemi Adesonya. And as usual, I'm joined by the man behind the AI, Dr. Oluseyi Akindele. Seyi, how now?
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Yemi, and it's good to be back. Buzzing this time. I'm buzzing.
Yeah, you have to be just buzzing because 2 weeks ago, you kicked the hell out. Yeah, we can swear on this one. We kicked the shit out of Clinton. and Clinton has been getting a huge rollicking from people on Twitter that he has finally gotten an L for mankind. But it was a good one, but it was close as well. Let me go to our guest for this week. I'm just knowing that his name is Emmanuel, but for those on Twitter who follow his tweets, he's known as at E_Kamikaze. Music Kamikaze is a music guru, no type of music, especially hip hop. He's the man for it. Manuel, welcome to the show.
Thank you, boss. It's a pleasure being here.
Good to have you, and good to finally put a face to the tweets.
I appreciate it
as it is. So, Seyi, let's come to you. 2 weeks ago, this is national break. 2 weeks ago, it was very funny. Somehow, the AI started on a bad note with the Friday game, the first game, because the AI went for a Brighton win, but the game ended 1-1. It ended 0-0. So Clinton struck the first blow by getting a draw called in that one and got 1 point. And then I started thinking, okay, this looks interesting. But somehow the AI got a very good, correct score on Southampton Newcastle. And I think from then on, the AI didn't look back.
Absolutely. Well, let's hope that the tweak that was done in the last 2 weeks, will continue with that. A little bit of as we get, like I said a fortnight ago, that as we get more results of this season, we have more data to train the machine with. So we'll probably start to make a bit of a better judgment on this season's performance. So let's hope that that's the first of many wins to come as we get more data, more results in, more analysis into it's at the end of the day, it's data in, data out. So it's the more data you feed it, the more it's able to make those predictions. And let's hope that it wasn't a flash in the pan. Let's hope that we're able to sustain that momentum.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that. Now let me quickly come to you on one thing. The big game this weekend, it depends on where you look at it, but if you're looking at the way the table is set up right now, is Leicester going to Anfield to play Liverpool. Now, it will be interesting what the AI has for us. Why am I saying so? God, the person that did Liverpool, this juju, did it well. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Van Dijk, Joe Gomez, and potentially Andrew Robertson are potentially injured. Fabio likely to be back, but Mohamed Salah tested positive for COVID-19. It's a huge blow. The replacements in defense, Riles Williams, also potentially out of the game as well. How is the AI going to handle all these potential absentees?
Well, it's simple, really. AI is maybe we're giving it too much. AI is just another term for mathematics. It's just going to look at the data in scope. Liverpool haven't lost at Anfield in almost 4 years, so the chances that the AI is going to predict anything other than a victory is obviously it's going to look at data. It's just pure data. It's not going. It's just going to look at all this season. Liverpool, they've only lost once at Anfield, twice at Anfield in the EPL in probably 6 years.
3 or 4 years.
Yeah. So the chances that Leicester will go to Anfield and pick up, regardless of who is playing or who's not playing or who's missing, according to the statistics, would be very, very, very slim. So at the end of the day, the AI is calling a Liverpool victory, but we'll talk about that when we get there. So really, that's just like I said, it's data, it's data, it's data. It's just the use of data. It's just going to look at trends. What is the trend of Liverpool playing at home against any team in the EPL? So it's going to see win, 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 draw, win, 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 win. The only thing is it's going to see there hasn't been a loss there. So the chances that it's going to, and of course that's the beauty with competing with a human, because a human will take all these things into consideration: the missing players, the missing defenders, the missing one of the front three, and then we'll probably
like I have done today.
Exactly. I would probably think, well, there may be a chance. And of course, Leicester on the back of some of their recent, runs, and let's say, and of course, it's Brendan Rodgers going back to, won't have a, one off up, his sleeves at Anfield again. Let's see. But for the AI, which is purely machine based, just going to look at the data and just say, well, from what I'm seeing in my front, the victory is surely one way.
Okay, can we do one thing? Let me ask you this. Okay, so is it possible for the AI to take into consideration certain things? Okay, maybe history, games where Liverpool have had to play an under-strength team against a Leicester and see what the outcome may have been. So you are saying, for instance, in games where maybe Liverpool played Leicester in the Carling Cup, I can't remember if that happened, in the Carabao Cup, and they had to play their less than strong squad. What was the outcome? Are there instances where the AI can narrow down to certain specifics to getting a potential result?
Yes, absolutely. There is nothing that the AI cannot do. However, now the problem with AI, remember that AI is machine, so you have to train it with data. Now, how do the problem is how to get this data. So you actually have to pay some organization, maybe like Opta Index, for us to have all that data. This data, even the data that I'm currently using to train AI, was just gotten off scraping, former results and all that. So to get data on players, you'd have to probably pay some huge amounts, just to get the data to train the AI with that. Okay. So for instance, there are, chances that every time, a player, like for every time Milner scores for Liverpool, I don't think Liverpool have ever
Liverpool wins.
They always win. So you can train it to specifics, to the minute, but you need data. You need, that's why it's called big data. You need a lot of data to train it with. And for this kind of scenario, I just think using the general available data that you can get, the statistics, goals for, goals against, goals on, shots on target, shots off target, corner kicks, free kicks, all those kind of things. They are easier to come about than getting those in-depth statistics by player for player. It's just going to be I think a bit of an overkill.
Okay, so as you said now, let's take note of that, because it's likely that Jose Milner will play at right back for Liverpool against Leicester. And as Shay just said, I can't remember the last time he played a game for Liverpool that they lost, a game that he started. So I think that's another thing to take into consideration. Now, I think the last 2 weeks ago, we had City hosting Liverpool, and the AI was spot on with the result, saying 1-1. But it could have been different if Kevin De Bruyne had, scored the penalty. It could have been completely different. Even though Clinton went for a Liverpool win. Now, that takes us back to, and this is a few years ago, where I think Riyad Mahrez also missed the penalty, and it ended up being a nil-nil situation. So I think, is it also possible to look at instances where players have had an impact in what the results ended up being? So, for instance, can we say instances where Manchester City have missed penalties? What was the outcome of the results? Is this something the AI can look at to come to a prediction?
Well, you see, it's something that you can look at, but the AI first has to know that there will be a penalty in that game. That's the first thing.
No, but I'm saying that. Okay, for instance, Leicester.
Yeah.
There have been 47 penalties this season, right?
Okay.
Leicester have been awarded, I think, 8 or 9 this season, which is 20%, about roughly 20% of the penalties given this season. And I think in all those games, I think they won all those games that they've been giving penalties.
Yeah.
So is there a subset that the AI can arrive at and tell us that, okay, if Leicester are awarded a penalty at Anfield, Leicester will win?
Now,
whether they miss or they score.
Yeah, it's actually possible to do that, but now that's not going beyond AI. What you're not doing is data modeling. So you're doing what if statements, like what if this happens, what if that happens, so that's no more prediction. That's more about setting outcome. Like you want to, like these are things that coaches would use, not coaches will probably use this kind of data, or teams you will use it. That what if statements, like analytics, more like unlike prediction. Prediction is just about, look, whatever happens in the game, give me the result, regardless of whether there's a penalty or a yellow or whatever. So yeah, but the thing is, with analytics, coaches will now sit down with this data and start to look at, okay, what are the chances that if we get that's why they practice. I mean, some coaches practice with 10 men behind the ball, just thinking that, oh, we are coming against Leicester, we might have a red card, so let's prepare, let's plan with 10 men, play with 10 men and all that. But with predictions, it doesn't matter whether there's a red card or there's a penalty. I just need to look at the results. You talked about the game Man City Liverpool, where De Bruyne missed a penalty and the match ended 1-1, and the AI got 3 points. Now there was another game in week 2 when Liverpool played Chelsea and AI predicted 2-1. Chelsea had a penalty but missed it as well. So AI will also have had So these are the the fine lines and the fine margins that we have to live with.
Okay, so let me go to our guest, Emmanuel. So let me ask you this, and I ask everybody that comes on this show this question: what do you take into consideration when making your predictions?
Well, thank you for having me once again. I usually look at the head-to-head, how many times they've played, how many times they've won, drawn, goals scored, and most importantly, I consider the form of the team. Some teams might be on a low at a particular period, some might be on a high. That's they're winning games and they're scrapping out wins. So most of the time, I consider these measures before I normally come to a conclusion in prediction.
So you are also a form person, you don't use historical data. You don't look at head-to-head. It's just form.
I definitely look at head-to-head. Head-to-head once in a while comes into form. But most of the time, I usually look at the form of the team, because at times most teams that are not in form, definitely you expect a terrible record from them. But most times, most teams are actually in form. You expect results as in victory. But most times I use head-to-head because at times the head-to-head history comes into place. Some funny games at times, you just look at them, maybe a team that is usually like what they call in football, terminology, they call it your wife. You, you normally, no matter how badly you play, you will still beat your wife. That kind of thing.
Arsenal and Aston Villa. Arsenal and Aston Villa.
Something like that.
Well,
So it's just form and head to head. Both, I put it into perspective, both of them.
so I think Shay, we somehow have a bit of consistency on this show with the guests we've had. I think we've had majority having more focus on the form, on form, right, than head to head.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Even though I am more of, I try to combine both head to head, form, And interestingly, if we're looking at form, and now that takes us to the other big game for this weekend, which is Tottenham against Manchester City. It is one of the big games. That's Spurs are second, by the way, and Spurs are in actually very, very good form. Let's look at City first. If you're considering form, City have only kept 2 clean sheets in 7 league matches, right? Now, Spurs have won their last 3, and they've won. They've also, if they win, it will be their 4th straight win. So, and also they defeated City. City has lost in back-to-back visits to the Etihad. Now that's head-to-head. Now, but form, City are yet to lose away from home in the league. How do we arrive at that? Because it's a conflicting form. City are undefeated away from home. Spurs have won their last 3. Where do we strike the balance in making that prediction?
What the AI will probably do is to give, especially in mathematical modeling, what the mathematics will do is to give a weight to those things you have said. So, for instance, if you say City, they've lost the last 2 times they've been to Tottenham, it will give it a weight. So that weight, maybe between 0 and 10, we'll say, okay, let's give it a weight 3. Now, then the other one, City's form this season, which is actually the current season, which is the main form. That's the form. You now say City haven't lost away from home this season. So you can now give it another weight, say 4. So at the end of the day, you now find a weighted average. Like, okay, what is the chance that if City goes with the form they are in, juxtaposing that with what has happened, in previous seasons, then you now come up with some kind of weighted average to say, well, the mathematics will now say, well, I'm leaning towards the fact that, well, this season they haven't lost away from home, despite the fact that they've lost, at the London Stadium in the last 2 seasons. I think it's more tailored. Well, they might just be a draw, because I think at the end of the day, if you look at it, might just say, well, I don't think they'll win, but I don't exactly think they would, lose as well. So, let's combine the 2 of them. That's why you come up with all sorts of mathematical modeling for weighted averages and those kind of things, and then you apply to your data.
Okay, so without further ado, let's get into it right away. To the business of the day. The AI coming with form, so we're going to go with the AI first. Or no, we're going with the AI first because that's victory last week. It's a huge statement. So to the early kickoff for tomorrow, which is Newcastle hosting Chelsea. Note that Newcastle have also been in very decent form this season, even doing far beyond my expectations. So, Shay, what do you think? Newcastle, Chelsea?
1. Yeah, Newcastle 1, Chelsea 2.
Newcastle 1, Chelsea 2. Okay, I'm actually going for a Chelsea win as well, 0-2 in favor of Chelsea. So, Emmanuel, what say you?
I'm tagging along with you, boss. 0-2 to Chelsea, definitely.
0-2
Chelsea is winning this
as well. 0-2 to Chelsea. People won't have egg on our faces, so we're all like green. Aston Villa, Brighton. Shay?
2-1, Aston Villa.
2-1 Aston Villa. Because of the international break and I feel I just feel it will end in a draw. So Aston Villa 1, Brighton 1 for me. Emmanuel.
Wow, it seems we're on the same telepathic path this time around. I'm going for a draw too. A 0-0 draw.
0-0.
0-0.
Villa will not score. That would be the day. That would be the day. Tottenham, Manchester City, Shay.
1-1. 1-1.
1-1. Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you said that's the middle ground from our conversation when we're talking about it. I'm actually going for a Spurs win. Spurs 2, Manchester City 1. Emmanuel.
Well, I have to disagree with you, boss. Spurs 1,
Okay.
Man City 2. Man City 1.
Wow. I like this kind of one where all of us don't agree. I prefer this. So whoever gets it will say, okay, yeah, you have done well. So it says Spurs 1, Man City 2. To the late kickoff on Saturday, Manchester United at home to West Brom. Shay?
3-1 for Man U.
3-1 to Manchester United. 3-1 to Manchester United. Okay, so I'm going for 2-1 for Manchester United. Emmanuel?
2-0. Man U. I'm a Man U fan, so definitely I'm with Man U. 2-0.
2-0 Manchester United. I just hope they will not shock us. Okay, so
by God's grace.
Everton lost their last 3 matches. The good form, the good start to the season seems to have been derailed, but they go away to one of the teams that a lot of us are tipped to go down at the end of the season. And of course, if you have a certain Ademola Lookman who missed a last-minute penalty, you have to worry about that team. So Fulham host Everton. Shay, what do you say to that?
Everton will bounce back. 3-1. 1-3. That's 1 Fulham, 3 Everton.
1-3 Everton. I actually think Everton will bounce back as well. I think Everton will win 1-2. Emmanuel?
Definitely Everton winning 2-0. 0-2. Away win.
0-2. Wow. 0-2 Everton. This agreement again. All right. So we'll go over to Yorkshire, to Sheffield United as the host West Ham. Emmanuel, Sheffield United, West Ham. What say you?
Well, I'm looking at a draw here. Probably.
Draw.
Or let me change my mind. Sorry. Give me West Ham. West Ham away win 0-1.
0. Wow.
1. West Ham.
Now. I've also gone for 0-1 for West Ham. Shay, what about you?
He's going for a draw. 1-1.
Oh, 1-1. The AI decides to disagree. 1-1. Sheffield United 1, West Ham 1. And so another game that I will be taking a keen eye on. Leeds United hosting Arsenal at Elland Road. My man, Marcelo Bielsa, they've struggled, considered 4 goals, I think, in back-to-back games. Shay, what say you? Leeds, Arsenal.
I think it will end in a draw. Leeds 1, Arsenal 1. That's the prediction from AI.
Leeds 1, Arsenal 1. I think Leeds will win. Arsenal will be missing Mohamed Elneny in midfield. Arsenal look disjointed after that defeat against Aston Villa. I think Leeds will win 2-1. Emmanuel?
I'm going for an Arsenal win. Arsenal, Leeds 1, Arsenal 2.
Leeds 1, Arsenal 2. Nice. I like another disagreement there. The big game of the weekend, Liverpool taking on Leicester City. Shay doesn't rate Brendan Rodgers. Probably thinks he's a terrible manager. But Brendan Rodgers would not have a better opportunity than to win at Anfield than this. Shay, Liverpool, Leicester City. Who wins that one?
He's still going to lose 2-1. So Liverpool 2.
Liverpool 2, Leicester 1. Well, I've looked at those injuries, even though Leicester too have their own injuries, but I think Leicester have been quite unlucky at Anfield in the last few seasons. Last season, late penalty gave Liverpool the
Right.
win after Saint-Germain was brought down in the box. So I think Leicester will win this time 1-2 to Leicester. Emmanuel,
I'm going for a draw, 1-1 draw.
1-1.
Depleted side, so 1-1 definitely.
I like this again. Total disagreement across board, which is good. So the Monday fixture, I don't know. Lately, these Monday fixtures they get killed, but Burnley Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace scored 4 the last time they played, and that was 4 goals against Leeds United. Eberechi Eze was the man of the match on that one. Can we expect Palace to continue the good form of scoring 4 against the Burnley side that have also struggled this season, struggling to get goals, struggling to put wins on the board? Emmanuel, what do you think? Burnley Crystal Palace?
Judging from Crystal Palace's form, I'm looking at a draw here. I doubt if Burnley will carve out any results from this match. So I'm going for maybe a draw, 0-0,
Okay, so
or
your
let me say
result will
yes,
be what?
0-0 draw. 0-0 draw.
0-0. You have 2-0-0 already. Seriously. Well, I've gone for a
A
Palace
draw.
win. I think Palace will continue their winning ways. 1-2 to Palace. Burnley, Palace, Shay.
2-0. AI thinks Burnley will win.
Burnley, 2-0. Yeah, this is better. Let's disagree. It's better to make the gap, the scores either higher or lower, or there'll be a bigger gap. So the last game of the weekend, and a game that I think a lot of people should watch, potentially will be a very interesting game. Wolverhampton Wanderers against Southampton. Even though the week I mentioned this start, he told me that go out of the window, and he did go out of the window. Wolves have not scored in 22 of the last 29 games in the first half. So Wolves,
2-0 for Wolves. Ings is missing, and I think they will have too much for Southampton.
Ings is a huge miss, but as you say, so he was missing against Newcastle. Was it last week? And they did the business. Certain Shea Adams did the business, and the Stanley Stuart Armstrong as well was able to contribute. But I am actually going for a draw. I think it will end 1-1. So finally, Emmanuel, your results, the prediction for Wolves.
I think I'm tagging with Doug this time around. 2-0. Wolves will win.
3-0.
Wolves win 2-0. 2-0 actually. 2-0. Wolves win.
Okay, 2-0.
2-0 to Wolves.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Oh, so
All right. So
win? What? 1-2.
1-1. 1-1.
Draw. Okay.
1-1 Wolves Southampton.
All right.
So
okay,
let's take a quick rundown of the predictions that we made. We're just all right. So what I like, we are not agreeing on Spurs, Man City. AI went for 1-1. I went for a 2-1 Spurs win, and Emmanuel went for a Man City win. So that's interesting. I don't like the fact that we all agree Newcastle, Chelsea, all agree Man City, Man United, West Brom, we all agree Fulham, Everton. Which one do we disagree? Oh yes, Leeds, Arsenal. We completely disagree on that one as well. The AI goes for a draw. I've gone for a Leeds win. Man has gone for an Arsenal win, and also Liverpool, Leicester. We all are not in agreement. The AI went for a Liverpool win. I've gone for a Leicester win. Emmanuel has gone for a draw. And also, wow, Burnley Crystal Palace, we don't agree as well. AI has gone for a Burnley win. I went for a Palace win. Emmanuel went for a 0-0 draw. So, as they always say, may the best man or the best machine win.
Definitely.
Well, yeah, let's
Guys,
fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
it's been
Fingers crossed.
a very interesting predictions. We keep our respective fingers crossed. If you can cross your toes
Same
to
here.
cross the toes too. But I'm excited and I'm looking forward to a very, very good weekend of football. And then you also need to take into consideration some of these teams will have one eye on their potential Champions League games. I worry about Liverpool, and I would love to see what that Liverpool lineup will look like when they take on Leicester. Emmanuel, parting shot from you.
Well, like you rightly said, let the best man win or the best AI win. So I'm looking forward to the results and hoping that something good will come our way.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us on Football and AI. And Chei, what about you?
Thank you for hosting me.
Shots, passing thoughts?
Yeah, well, hoping for another good outing. I mean, let's sustain that momentum of getting the first win. Let's see if we can make it. The AI can make it number 2 this weekend. Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel, for joining, and hopefully, well, may the
Thank you,
best
Doc.
man. Yeah.
Thank you, Doc. I appreciate it.
Oh, my God.
Thanks, boss.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Promises to be a brilliant weekend of football. I'm looking forward. I'm excited, actually. And hopefully, as they say on that other side, may the odds favor you. Have a lovely weekend. Bye for now.
Yeah, same to you. Thanks, boss. Thank you very much.